The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the budgets of many, many programs. This includes, of course, the arts. But Dinna Alexanyan, founder of the nonprofit Cyberright Productions, has found a way to try to help these artists who are struggling during this very difficult period. Our first question is, how did Cyberright Productions get started?
Well, Cyberright actually started as a dance company, but more like a collective. So I created a hierarchy situation where these masters of dance, they represented different genres. There was Tanisha Scott for dance hall. There was Quick Step and Rockefeller for breaking. There was some of the members of Mop Top and Elite Crew for house and hip hop, like Link Khalif, Buddha Stretch, Tweety, and rest in peace, Marjorie Smart. And so what we would do is we would hold these very affordable, sometimes free workshops and open it to the public. And at the end, it was sort of like an audition, and whoever got in became part of that collective, that company. And then by 2005, we had our first showcase, with the dancers being the choreographers for that. And by 2006, we were a nonprofit, and we launched Love is Love, which is what we're pretty much infamous for.
That's what I was about to ask you. For people who are unfamiliar with Love is Love, just share with us the mission behind it.
The mission in general is to bring people closer to their joy through the expression of the arts. So Love is Love is a quarterly, 15-year running, amazing dance, music, art showcase where we feature the top artists of New York City and beyond. Now it's become like an international thing. Over 300 or so artists submit to be part of it. We choose 20 or 30 dance choreographers. They have 2.5 minutes to show their piece on stage and showcase it. There's no break in between, so it's just like pow, 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 pow. There's artists painting live in front of the stage. There's musical artists. The after party is, if you can imagine, 800, 1,000 people just ciphering and dancing. Voodoo Ray was the, rest in peace, was the host as well and he really brought the community together, and it just is a phenomenal showcase. And so the deal with it is that about 50% of the audience is like friends and family supporting the artists, but the other 50% is what we call buyers. So they're different artists, different videographers, different agencies. So we've had Beyonce's dancers, Justin Timberlake's dancers, Cardi B, Missy Elliott, like Madonna's, on and on and on. And the point is to get this exposure for the artists and to get them employed.
So Dinna, now let's talk about how you've navigated, because I want to double back to this 800 to 1,000 big party, which sounds awesome, but COVID happened. Just tell us how it impacted Cyberright.
Massively. It not only impacted us, so essentially we were gonna have our 15-year anniversary, August 18th, 2020, and we were gonna fundraise for the nonprofit. We can't survive without showing that we're raising funds, right? So we had to raise funds through Love is Love and through rental, space rental, both of which has been completely wiped out, right? So what we did essentially is that we had to sort of shift everything. And at the same time, the thousands and thousands of dancers that we're associated with and artists have lost 100% of their income. They cannot tour, they cannot showcase, they cannot teach class, they can't do any of that. So it's really a devastating. I'm getting calls every day of someone becoming homeless, someone having nothing to eat, so anyway, so we shifted everything to create a artist relief fund. And so instead of fundraising for the nonprofit, we're fundraising to raise funds for the Artist Relief Fund, where we would allocate, well, our goal is to make $150,000, to raise a minimum of $150,000 to be able to give $300 or $500 to over 300 artists. So what we're trying to do by raising the funds, what we do is the application process is super, super easy. All we're asking is for artists, any artist around the whole world that has ever been associated with Cyberright, so they'll know by hearing about it. All they have to do is post a video on their social media, Instagram or TikTok or both ideally, and 30 seconds or less, stating how COVID has affected them. And then they tag Cyberite Productions, they tag Love is Love, and they tag Cyberite Productions Artist Relief Fund. Okay. The idea, Antoine, is that the more that show up on social media showing this, the more donors will get a look at this and see, oh, these are impacted artists, thousands and thousands that Cyberite is associated with. We should donate to them so that they can give these grants to these artists. So that's really like the way that we're trying to work it out, so that we can hopefully raise more than $150,000 and give more than $500 to 300 or more artists, you know? And I think that there's certain corporate sponsors like TikTok or Instagram or Adidas or Nike or whoever that we can reach out to that is more liable to sign up to something like this and donate to these artists, we hope.
Dinna, before we go, a couple of things now. This is just the reporter in me kicking in. Where are you from? And are you a dancer yourself, or what is your own background and connection?
So I'm originally, I'm an immigrant, but I grew up mostly in the Bay Area. I came to New York in 2000, the end of 2003, and by 2004 was when I just was blessed to be connected with these amazing dancers, and I wanted to unionize them. So I was in New York until 2014, and now I'm between New York and Miami and California. I kind of go in between all three. I was a dancer, but I always had more of like a managerial kind of social work mind. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, so my mind is very much geared into how can I showcase, how can I highlight, how can I bring people closer to their joy, essentially.
Okay. Well, we love that. And before we go, what's the website so we can at least see pictures or maybe some clips of some of the dancers? I'm curious about this 800 to 1,000 person party and how I can get an invite.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's cyberiteproductions.net. So Cyberite is spelled SYBARITE productions.net. And there's a gallery, you can see videos. There's also a really extended long video showcasing everything and all the artists that have been involved with us. And there's some great stuff on there. And the GoFundMe, I think that you guys will probably put up a link or something, hopefully. But it's GoFundMe/Cyberite Love is Love. So yeah.
All right, Dinna Alexanyan, thank you so much for talking with us, being a part of it. Also, before we say goodbye to you, you're traveling to a couple of hot spots, if you will. So just be safe as you're following your passion and helping others realize and recognize their own. So you just have our safe wishes and Godspeed as you're making your travels.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Coming up, the organization helping at-risk teens express their artistic side during this pandemic. We'll tell you about it when we come back.